Today, we're talking all about the new 2026 Ford F-150, and we're going to cover every single one of the changes that Ford has made from the 25 to the 26 model. And we're going to, by the end of this video, you're going to be one of the experts when it comes to this brand new body style. Now, this video does take a lot of time to prepare for and to create for you. So the only thing that we ask in return is two things. Number one, like the video. And number two, if you're interested in buying one of these vehicles, give us an opportunity. Town & Country Ford and TC Customs. We can customize your vehicle, we can make it easy for you, or you can just buy it in bone stock form. The phone number's right there on the screen if you're interested in that. So now let's go ahead and jump into some of the main product changes for the 2026 model year. Now, the first thing you're going to notice, there's a couple of different PEP codes that Ford has given us. Those are nothing but an equipment group, if you will. It's a series of options that Ford has grouped together to basically save you a little bit of money. So first off, you have a brand new King Ranch 600A equipment group available. You also have a Platinum 700A and a Tremor 402B. Basically, what I'm finding here is these are less expensive packages on pre-existing trim levels. It looks like Ford's trying to give you an opportunity to get some different packaging and maybe save a little bit of money at the same time. Now, there's also going to be a couple of mechanical changes for these new body style 2026 Ford F-150s, specifically around a two-wheel drive. Now you can pick up a two-wheel drive Lariat, King Ranch, and a Platinum if that's something that you're interested in doing, which was something you previously were not able to do. There's also a few new colors for the new F-150, Avalanche, Argon Blue, and Ruby Red. But there's a few colors that have been deleted, and that's going to be Atlas Blue, Rapid Red, and Space White. Now, Bluecruise is now also available as a one-time purchase as long as you get an XLT 302A equipment group and above. Just kind of know that as an option. But it's nice to know that you can just say, hey, I know I'm going to keep this truck for a long time, and I know I'm going to want Bluecruise. Go ahead and give it to me for the rest of the vehicle's lifetime. Now, I will say they do limit that to 7 years. And the reason they say they do that is because that's how long they expect the current system to be operational, meaning that the modems inside of the vehicle, after 7 years, they're expecting to be completely obsolete, and at that point they can't promise it from there going forward, but they're calling it a one-time purchase. Now, you also happen to have a connectivity package, which is going to be included as 1 year as standard automatically pretty much across the board, with an option to go to a one-time purchase. Basically, there's a lot of things going on in the connectivity package, but the main thing you'll notice is that you basically pick up unlimited Wi-Fi hotspot inside of the vehicles. Whether you work out of the vehicle or have a bunch of kids with some iPads in the backseat, it might be really nice to have that. Now I want to jump specifically into the XL trim level. And what do you get as standard equipment on this trim level? Well, first off, let's talk about the mechanical stuff, because the XLs, every one of them comes standard with the 2.7. Actually, that is not true. There are a few caveats to that, but almost all of the XL models are going to come standard with a 2.7 liter EcoBoost, which is actually a pretty good engine. But the beautiful thing is if you get the four-wheel drive system, every one of those four-wheel drive systems includes the neutral towing capability, which basically means you can flat tow the F-150 behind your motorhome. It's a really nice thing. You do get a few other niceties like the auto hold. Basically, when you take your foot off the brake and you're on a steep incline or decline, the vehicle will hold itself there for 3 seconds to give you time to get from the brake onto the gas. Doesn't sound like much, but when you've got a really heavy trailer behind you, it could be really, really nice to have that feature. You also have a couple of selectable drive modes, depending on whether you go four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. And lastly, let's talk about the automatic transmission. You do have a 10-speed automatic transmission with progressive range select. Basically, that means you can choose which range of gears that you want to operate out of with the transmission. So let's say that you do a lot of towing and it's really, really hilly. You can actually, and you don't want it to go from 5th gear to 10th gear, 5th gear to 10th gear, 5th gear to 10th gear. You can progressively select the range of gears that you want to use and say, I only want to use gears 1 through 5. It'll keep it basically from trying to overwork the shifting when you're doing some crazy towing. Now let's talk about the exterior of the vehicle. Every one of these XLs are going to come with black bumpers in the front and the rear. And the bumpers can be upgraded to some chrome bumpers. More on that in just a second. But you have a 23-gallon tank is going to be the size of the fuel tank for every one of these F-150s that are a regular cab 6.5-foot box, only because there's not enough space to put the larger fuel tank, which is the 36-gallon tank. It's pretty much going to be standard on everything other than a regular cab 6.5-foot box, if you will. When I say box, I'm talking about the size of the bed of the vehicle itself. But speaking of boxed, you do have a fully boxed steel frame inside of this vehicle, so it's really nice. You got a lot of torsional rigidity. It's going to make it better for towing, better for supercharging it if you're like us and TC Customs, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I want to keep moving on. I get a little distracted sometimes when I talk about superchargers and performance. By the way, shameless plug, TC Customs can also help you with the supercharger if you want to. And the word on the street is the Roush supercharger is going to work on the 26 model as well. So if you want us to hook you up on that, you can also ask for us to supercharge it when you order your truck. So just kind of fun little fact there for you. And also there's supposed to be a little bit more wide range availability on the 5.0s, but once again, don't need to get distracted. Let's get back to what we're talking about. On the exterior of the XL F-150, every one of these will come with a power tailgate lock, which is really nice. You lock the doors with the key fob and the whole truck locks, including the tailgate. You also have a tailgate lift assist. It's basically a torsion bar that runs down the center of the what is that thing called? The tailgate. There's a torsion bar that runs down the center of the tailgate that will help you lift it, make it a little bit easier. Unfortunately, it's not going to be dampened, but it is nice that it is a little bit lighter than it normally would have been otherwise. Trailer sway control is a really nice feature. It uses the yaw sensors and all these different sensors and modules inside the vehicle, and it can tell if that trailer is getting squirrely behind you. It can actually pinpoint little tiny little brake applications, you would never know it, to basically keep that trailer from swaying automatically. It's a really slick little setup that I think is underrated in my opinion. But speaking of towing, you also have a trailer towing 4-pin wiring system automatically hooked up. And then moving on, 17-inch silver steel wheels. Got them steelies on factory equipped Ford F-150's 101A equipment group. There is actually the ability to upgrade the wheels as well. More on that in just a second as well. Next up for the interior, this is an important change. For 2026, Ford is giving us a 4-inch digital instrument cluster, which last year was a 12-inch instrument cluster. So it sounds like they're actually going back to an analog type of a screen with a smaller LCD in the middle instead of having a completely digital instrument cluster. So you can look at this as going back to the way it was, or you can consider this a downgrade. That is going to be up to you, but I'm curious to know what you think down below. Next up, vinyl flooring is going to be on every one of these XL models, as well as cruise control. That's a really nice feature to get. Unfortunately, there is no dual zone air conditioning, but you do get a single zone air conditioning in the new XL F-150. But you do pick up things like power door locks, power windows, and also a black urethane steering wheel, as well as some cloth seats. Moving into the safety and security of the vehicle, you do get a couple of different things that are really nice. Advanced track with roll stability control. All of those sensors we've talked about in the past on things like the trailer sway control, they also are helping to make sure that the vehicle doesn't slide out of control when you're driving a little bit more aggressively, or if the road is just nasty and there's terrible weather conditions out there. But if you do end up in a wreck, that's okay, because Ford's got a lot of airbags all the way around this vehicle. So airbags specifically, you have a driver and a passenger front airbag. You have a driver and passenger seat mounted side airbag. And then you also have a canopy system that comes down from the roof line as a side curtain airbag. So that's really, really nice. But once again, there's even more technology to hopefully keep you from ever having to use those airbags, like curve control. This is a feature that I have used myself and tested, and it's pretty insane. It's looking at the speed of the vehicle. It's looking at the steering angle. It's looking at all of these different sensors, and it says, okay, Mitchell's going way too fast for this curve that's coming up. It'll actually slow the vehicle down so that way you don't slide right off of the road. Now, next up, you do pick up LED reflector headlamps, and you also get a Security Code passive anti-theft system, as well as SOS post-crash alert, which basically means if you ride off of the road and it's really, really dark, the horn and the lights and all of that stuff's gonna flash to try and get people's attention from the people that are driving down the road later at night. And the Ford F-150 also comes with the Ford security package for 1 year complimentary, no extra cost to you, and then you can pay to have it later on after that if you want to. The Ford security package is an interesting note. It actually gives you the ability to completely lock your vehicle out, meaning that if I know that I'm going to be going to the airport, I'm leaving my vehicle for an extended time, and I know that airport is known for having cars stolen, I can actually hop on my Ford Pass Connect app, and I can basically start inhibit the vehicle, so that way even if someone has the key, they still cannot start the vehicle until I get back into my app and I actually turn that start and inhibit off. There's even things like an insurance deductible reimbursement. So that way, even if the vehicle does get stolen, Ford will pay you for your insurance deductible up to a certain amount, obviously. But it's a pretty neat little system. Now, moving into the Ford Copilot 360 2.0, you guys, if you watch my videos, you know, number one, I'm 6'3". That's how tall I am. Number two, I love the Ford Copilot 360, but I think the naming is the worst thing on the planet. They really need to work on this. But the Ford Copilot 360 2.0, not the Assist 2.0, that's coming in a second, but the 2.0, normal 2.0, includes automatic high beams, so it can tell if there's a car in front of you and it'll automatically bring up those high beams, blind spot assist, blind spot information system, automatic emergency braking, but keep in mind it's using the camera system in the windshield only. You also pick up intersection assist, pedestrian detection, post-collision braking, basically keeps you from rolling into a second vehicle in an accident. And then you also get a backup camera as mandated by law, rear parking sensors, and also reverse brake assist. So if little Johnny is behind you and you didn't see him, the truck should be able to stop automatically when it sees that object behind you, hopefully saving a life. So I think that's really cool. Next up, let's talk about some of the functional things you get standard equipment inside of the F-150 XL. Things like the auto headlamps basically gives you an on-off switch that's automatically, so you don't have to worry about, did I leave my headlights on? It does it for you. Class 4 trailer tow hitch system and a 5G modem is built into every one of these trucks. That 5G modem is what helps power the Ford app, the Ford Pass Connect, I think is what they call it. I don't know. Once again, they change the name pretty often, but it's a pretty slick little app where you can remote start the vehicle. You can actually schedule times to automatically start the vehicle. So that way, if you know you get in the car every morning at 7 a.m., you can have it remote start at 6:45. So that way it's nice and cooled off or warmed up for you, regardless of how you want it to do. Now, the other thing about that app is you can actually check and see where you park the vehicle based on the GPS of the vehicle itself. And you also pick up things like vehicle health status, which is really nice. It's actually helped us diagnose some customers' vehicles. If you run into a situation, having that turned on, your dealer can actually see. Now, your dealer can't see where you're located, but they can see things that are critical to the health of the vehicle and give you better guidance on whether you need to come into the service shop or see if that's something we can fix over the air or send a mobile service to you, which, by the way, we offer all of those things for you for free if you buy your vehicle from us, or even if you don't buy your vehicle from us, we'll still be happy to do that for you for free. But a couple of other things you get on the XL model, things like Hill Start Assist. You have a Sync 4 system. It's an infotainment system that basically gives you wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. It's built into this nice 12-inch infotainment system that's built right there in the center of the vehicle, and it is fantastic. Now, if you want to plug it in, you can still do it old school way, but it's nice that every single one of these vehicles comes with that wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You also get free Sirius satellite radio on every one of these trucks. It comes automatically with a 3-month subscription, but you have the ability to upgrade to a 3-year subscription at a discounted rate if that's something you want to do as well. Next up, let's talk about the XL optional equipment that you get on this particular vehicle. And to do that, I need to let you know everything that we just included in the standard equipment, that is in the 101A equipment group. We established a little bit earlier that an equipment group is just nothing but a package of a bunch of options that they put together and they say, okay, we like this. This is going to be this package. And then if you want, you can actually step up to the 103A equipment group. And if you do, you'll get everything that we just mentioned, but you'll also pick up an interior work surface. You get LED fog lights. You get 17-inch silver painted wheels instead of those old school Steelies. By the way, those wheels are not just Steelies, they are aluminum wheels. So that's kind of nice. This is also the same package that you would get rid of the black bumpers and pick up the chrome bumpers. And you would also get the rear window defroster as well as rear privacy glass. But you might be asking yourself, well, how can I actually spec this vehicle as far as the configuration is concerned? Well, the XL is available in a regular cab, a super cab, or a super crew. It's available in a 2-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive. And the box configurations are pretty nice because you can go anywhere from a 5.5-foot box all the way up to an 8-foot box, depending on the cab selection that you choose. So that's interesting to know. Now, every one of these, as I mentioned to you earlier, are going to be a 2.7 liter EcoBoost with a few random exceptions. And in those random selections, you actually get a 5.0 V8. But even if you didn't get that random selection, you can still opt for a 5.0 V8 if that's something that's important to you. And you also have the ability to upgrade to a 3.5 EcoBoost if that's something that you're interested in. Now, there is a power boost option, but it's only available for fleet customers. So you're not going to be able to just walk on the lot and find one of these XLs in a power boost. You actually have to order it with a fleet identification number to be able to get that specific spec, if you will. Now you might be asking, okay, what other packages and freestanding options can I get on an XL? Well, first off, you have a tow haul package. You have an axle upgrade is available to you, engine block heater. You have a platform black running boards on both sides of the vehicle. Tailgate step is an option, as well as vinyl seats. Now, I may not have covered this clearly previously, but the seats in every one of these XLs are going to be cloth seats. But the good news is for no charge, you can also get vinyl seats, so it's up to you. Now, integrated trailer brake controller, that is also an option, as well as the 3-year Sirius satellite radio plan that I mentioned to you not long ago. Now, if those options are not something that interests you, you could also go with something that we in the business call a DIO. That stands for dealer installed option. Now, there's a whole lot of them here, so I'm not going to cover every one of them, but I'll cover some of the most popular ones that we see. Number one, the illuminated Ford logo. This looks really cool on a truck, especially if you're going to be building one of the F-150 sleepers, which, by the way, you can go to f150sleeper.com if you want to see some details on that 705 horsepower monster. But it's really nice to see that illuminated Ford logo. I think it looks good, especially if you're going to be customizing your vehicle anyway. Another option that you can do as a dealer installed option is the SecuriCode keyless entry keypad system. As well as a side step bar, and as I already mentioned to you, a whole lot more choices. Next up, let's talk about the trim level that is arguably the best value for the money. That's the STX trim level. Now, the STX trim level is going to come with every one of the standard equipment features that we originally listed on the XL, plus what I'm about to cover with you. Number one, you get body colored bumpers in the front and the rear. You pick up rear window defroster, as well as the privacy glass in the rear. You also get dark and gray grille, which is really, really nice. I would argue is one of the key defining features in the outside of the STX. Now, you also pick up a color coordinated carpet. So this is the first time you're going to actually see carpet instead of the vinyl flooring. And you also pick up cloth bucket seats for the first time ever on all of, I say it's the first time in the trim level, because we're going from the lowest trim level all the way to the highest. This is the nice thing that I think most people like about the STX. You still get the column shifter, but you have this nice center console you can store all your stuff in. Now, those are going to be cloth. I don't remember if I covered that. So they are cloth bucket seats, but you also pick up things like zone lighting. Now, everything that we just talked about, that is going to be what's included on the 200B equipment group, standard equipment on the STX. But if you step up to the 200A, one equipment group higher, you do pick up 20-inch wheels with better tires. You pick up LED fog lights with LED cornering lamps, which is really, really nice, especially when you're trying to pull into your driveway late at night. And this is also where you're going to find the 12-inch digital instrument cluster that we had mentioned was previously standard on all of the F-150s last year. Now, if you step up to the 201A equipment group, you're going to be picking up, this is basically the FX4 package, if you will. So instead of the 20-inch wheels, you actually go down to an 18-inch wheel, but it's a bigger tire because it's the FX4 off-road package. In addition to that, you're also going to get dual exhaust tips out back. The bumpers, it's an interesting story. They're actually not body colored. They're going to be considered Argent is the name of the color. It doesn't look bad. I actually think the rear dual exhaust tips where they come out looks fantastic. But you do pick up also some 6-inch black running boards, as well as FX4 decals, off-road tune shocks for the front and the rear. And actually the rear is going to be a monotube rear shock, but you also pick up skid plates all throughout the vehicle. Now, there are a couple of available configurations as far as the packaging is concerned. You do get a Super Crew and a Super Cab, which means you can either get the 4 full doors or the 2 full doors and the 2 half doors. The regular cab is not available on the STX. Now, as far as the bed length is concerned, you have 2 available options. You either have a 5.5 foot box or a 6.5 foot box, just depending on your selection and a couple of the options. The engines are pretty simple. You have a 2.7, a 5.0, and then you also have a power boost option as well. Now let's talk about the packages. Without question, my favorite package on the new F-150 STX is going to be the Lobo package. This is going to be a 200A Equipment Group Super Crew. That's what it requires, and it is gorgeous. It's got all the cool front grille. It looks good. It's got a lowered stance, 22-inch. It's a beautiful vehicle. I think this is a home run. Now, a few other packages that you have the choice to choose would be the tow haul package, connectivity package, and you also have the mobile office package. But if you're interested in a freestanding option, you can get an engine block heater, the front license plate bracket, which I think you should do on every one of these. Now, in the states that require a front license plate, so let's say, I don't know, let's say Georgia requires a front license plate. I don't know if they do or not, but if they did and you buy your vehicle from a dealer in Georgia, it comes standard equipment automatically without question. It comes that's an option that's on every one of them. But in the state of Alabama, thank you goodness gracious, we do not have to have a front license plate bracket, but we're smart and we realize we have a lot of customers that come in from out of state to buy a vehicle from us. So we option every one of these, nearly every one of them with that option as well, but we don't install it because some people don't want, drill holes in the front bumper. So we option it, but since it's a no charge option, but we give the customer the ability to choose later on if they want to do that or not. Now, floor liners are also going to be a standalone option that you can pick, as well as an integrated trailer brake controller and the satellite radio. The Sirius satellite radio 360L, I think is what they call it. You have the option to step up to a 3-year prepaid subscription if that's something you want to do. And you have a whole bunch of DIOs, dealer installed options, available. I'm not going to cover every single one of those, but you can see those right there on the screen. Now let's talk about the XLT. The XLT, in my opinion, I think is going to be the #1 seller as far as volume is concerned. It covers a lot of different equipment. And speaking of what that equipment actually is, it comes with everything that is standard equipment on the XL trim level, plus the features that I'm about to talk about. But before we talk about those specific features, I want to remind you again, Town & Country Ford in Bessemer and Pell City, Alabama is honoring invoice price. I think I just hit this microphone. Town & Country Ford in Bessemer and Pell City, Alabama is honoring invoice pricing on every 2026 F-150 that you order. There are a couple of exceptions. I think Raptor and Raptor R does not qualify for that, but literally everything else does qualify for invoice pricing. The phone number is right there on the screen. If you're getting any value out of this video, like the video, call us if you'd like to get a no-hassle price quote on a 2026. Happy to help you. But the standard equipment that you get above the XL is going to be body colored bumpers. You get black door handles and a black tailgate handle, as well as a rear window defroster, LED fog lights, and I cannot talk today. Rear privacy glass. I don't know why that was so difficult to say. Next up, talking about the interior, you do get color coordinated carpet, because once again, we're comparing this vehicle to the standard equipment in the XL, and the XL had the vinyl flooring. So it's nice to see you have the color coordinated carpet in this one too. You do get cloth bench front seats, which is kind of interesting. STX comes with bucket seats. This one, you can get buckets in the XLT, but it comes standard with a bench seat in the front. USB charging points, standard equipment. Black urethane steering wheel, standard equipment. 12-inch instrument cluster with zone lighting. That's really nice. You can load up and light up the entire campsite right there. Now, everything that we just talked about, that is what is going to be included in the 300A equipment group, the base package on the XLT. But if you step up one equipment group to the 301A, you actually pick up a couple of really nice things. First up, an 8-way power driver seat. Even though it's still going to be a bench seat, you do get power seats on the driver's side, as well as a wrapped steering wheel. You don't have that black urethane rubber style steering wheel it's really nice that you're picking up a wrap steering wheel for this point. Now, you also get dual zone air conditioner. So if you want the world's cheapest F-150 you can find with dual zone air conditioner, the 301A equipment group is what you want. That just period in a paragraph. But if you step up to the 302A equipment group, I would argue this is not just the most popular trim level, but it's also the most popular equipment group you can find on any of the F-150s. 302 gets you the body colored door handles. You get black platform running boards on both sides of the vehicle. You get a 10-way power driver's seat, 8-way power passenger seat. You also get a Ford connectivity package for 1 year, which, by the way, I don't know if I've covered this very well, but it basically comes with a lot of different things. But the most important thing is it comes with unlimited Wi-Fi hotspot, which is great if you're going to be, working out of your vehicle and firing up a work site, a job site, and you need Wi-Fi. It's really nice to have that, but it's also nice to have if you do a lot of long distance driving and your kids need some Wi-Fi from the iPad or whatever. You could have that option. Now, this is also where you pick up the Ford Copilot 360 Assist 2.0. Ford, please work on this naming structure because this is so confusing. Ford Copilot 360 Assist comes on every one of them. Excuse me. The Ford Copilot 360 2.0 comes on all of them. The Assist 2.0 comes standard on the 302. I've confused myself on this, but basically this is a little bit different because you pick up a 360 camera, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, predictive speed assist. So that way it can actually see the speed limit signs right there on the road. It reads it and can change your speed based on that. And it's really cool. You can set up tolerances, all that kind of stuff. We don't have enough time to get into it right now, but it is nice that you have that. That adaptive cruise control is not just slowing down, speeding up, but it actually will bring you to complete stop and then resume. They call that stop and go. You also have automatic emergency braking on oncoming traffic. Now, because in the previous versions you had the camera mounted, you also have radar sensors that are checking with this system, so it's a little bit more robust. But you also pick up tow technology package. So you get the tow tech package gives you two main things: the Pro Trailer Backup Assist and the Hitch Assist. What in the world is he talking about? He's naming all these things. I don't even know what he's talking about. Well, the Pro Trailer Backup Assist works like this. You basically hook up the trailer, you get it all set up, and you're like, man, I'm really nervous about backing up a trailer. Or let's say my wife, I love my wife, but she can't back up that trailer. I don't trust her to do that. Well, all you have to do is turn the knob to the left, and guess what? When you do that, the trailer's gonna go to the left. And then when you say, you know what, no, I want the trailer to go to the right, you turn that knob to the right, and guess what? Everything goes to the right. It's just, it really takes the stress out of backing up a trailer, especially if you have somebody that you just it's kind of your last ditch effort, right? But the other thing is the Hitch Assist. This one is really cool. The vehicle will back itself up to the hitch, the trailer, perfectly every time. I mean, it does. It's crazy. If you've not had a chance to try that, you really need to. Couple of other things you pick up: auto dimming rear view mirror. You also pick up remote start on the key fob with a remote tailgate release, which is nice. Heated front seats are also included in that 302A equipment group, as well as intelligent access with push button start. Once again, I'm throwing all these fancy names because I realize so many other dealers use these types of videos for their training. And by the way, if that's you, thank you for watching this video. But basically, for those of you that don't know what that is, that basically means you have a key fob that you walk up to and you stick your hand in the door handle and it knows the key fob's right there and it automatically unlocks the vehicle. That's what that is. And then when you get in the vehicle, you don't have to get the key out of your pocket or the key out of your purse. You just put your foot on the brake and hit the button and it starts up. So that's what that is. You also pick up power sliding rear window as well as Pro Power on board. So you might be asking yourself, well, that's actually a lot of stuff, but what if I want to go to an XLT even higher than that? Well, Ford has got you with their 303A equipment group. That 303A equipment group gets bucket seats automatically, which, by the way, I need to throw this out there. The 302A, you can get bucket seats depending on the package that you select. But standard in the 302, it does still have the bench seat. But the 303, every single one of those are going to have a bucket seat in the front. And every one of those is also going to have the B&O audio system. 8 speakers. Now there's 2 B&O audio sound systems. And since this is the first time I think we've talked about it in this video, I don't know, I've been talking for a long time now. So let's make sure that we cover that. B&O stands for Bang & Olufsen audio sound system. This is Ford's premium audio system. So you have a bass audio, you have the B&O 8 speaker, and you have a B&O 14 speaker on the F-150. So the 303A gets you really the middle of the road, but actually sounds a lot better than the middle of the road. It's pretty decent. It's much better than the B&O audio system in the Bronco. Let's just leave it at that. But the 303A equipment group gets you an XLT Chrome appearance package, which is actually new packaging for 2026. 2025, I think it had a different package, but don't worry, you can always like swap it back out for the black appearance package if that's something you want to do. Power adjustable pedals is also something you're going to get with the 303A equipment group, so that's nice, as well as the mobile office package. That is another standalone thing that you get with that 303 equipment group. And so you might be asking yourselves, okay, so I'm in on this XLT. I'd like to get it in a regular cab. Well, sorry, you can't. There's only 2 available cab configurations with the XLT. That's number 1, going to be a super cab and then a super cruise. So the 2 full doors and the 2 half doors, suicide doors, those are technically going to be on the super cab, and the super cruise, that 4 full doors. Now there are some limitations on that, so make sure you're dealing with a reputable dealer, and we'll make sure that we point you into the right direction. 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive are both available in this trim level, as well as 2 box configurations. So the bed links you can get is a 5.5 foot box and a 6.5 foot box in the back of the vehicle. They do have, what was it, 4 engines, I think it is. You have the 2.7 liter is an option. I think it's actually standard equipment. You can up it to the 5.0 V8 engine, as well as a 3.5 EcoBoost and the 3.5 Power Boost, which is the full hybrid system on the F-150. So you might be asking yourself, what packages are available on the XLT F-150? Well, first off, you have a connectivity package one-time purchase, meaning that you buy it once and you have free unlimited Wi-Fi hotspot in your vehicle at all times, forever and ever, until really the cell phone towers quit working. And by the way, they're estimating that on 7 years, just like I mentioned earlier in the video with the Bluecruise. Mobile office package is available, bed utility package is available, as well as 2 different black appearance packages. You have a black appearance package for the XLT, and you have an XLT black appearance package plus for the 303A equipment group. There are a little bit of differences in there, but this video is already long enough, so let's just keep it moving. And you also have a Chrome appearance package that is available, just depending on how you want to option it. There's also an FX4 package, but there's also a few standalone options on this vehicle. Number 1, you get Bluecruise. That is available as a standalone option on the 302A equipment group and the 303A equipment group. Now, if you go with that option, it's automatically going to give you 1 year plus 90 days. So I don't know why they did that, but 1 year and 90 days is going to be the first package. But you can also upgrade it to a one-time purchase if you say, I know I love Bluecruise and it's fantastic, which it is. I'm not biased. I mean, I am biased, but I'm not paid to say that. But Bluecruise is fantastic. You can actually buy it one time and it's good for that 7 years. You also have the security code keyless entry keypad right there on the B pillar. That is also a freestanding option that you can get on this new F-150. Next up, let's talk about the Lariat trim level. This one is an interesting one. This is, I'm going to reserve my thoughts for just a second. But anyways, what is this standard equipment that you get? Well, you basically get everything that you have on the XLT trim level, but you also pick up the 3.5 EcoBoost. This is going to be the new standard engine in the F-150 Lariat 3.5 EcoBoost. You do have front tow hooks, standard equipment, as well as LED projector headlamps with dynamic bending. This, if you're going to get an F-150 Lariat, this would be one of my favorite reasons. The headlights basically will turn as you turn the steering wheel. So if you turn the steering wheel just a little bit to the right, the actual headlight will turn just a little bit, so that way your headlights are looking where you're looking. It's a pretty sick little setup. But you also get a tailgate LED, so that way you can see when you're, looking out back behind the vehicle. I guess it's a tailgate LED. It's not a whole lot to talk about there. But moving to the inside of the F-150 Lariat, you do have auto dimming rear view mirror, as well as dual zone AC. Now that is available on the XLT, but it wasn't standard equipment on the XLT. That's why I'm mentioning it here. This is standard equipment on Lariat. So the other thing is you get a premium wrapped heated steering wheel, which is really, really nice. Now, I will say this next thing I'm talking about is one of the biggest crocs of you know what that I've heard in a long, long time. And I can't stand this because most people say, well, I don't want the XLT. I want the Lariat. Why? Because they think it comes with leather. The Lariat don't come with leather no more. In fact, that's been that way for a little while now. And if you've even looked at the vehicles, you might not have noticed they're not leather. Every one of these Lariats actually comes with Active X, which is basically a vegan alternative to leather. Active X bucket seats in the front and then Active X bench seat in the rear. I think it's crazy that Ford's not giving us real leather seats in this vehicle for this trim level. Now, it's available in other vehicle trim levels, and we're going to cover that in a second, but I think it's kind of crazy that it's not available in a Lariat at all. That's why most people say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to pick up an XLT and maybe add heated leather to it. Now you can even add heat and ventilated leather from Town & Country Ford TC Customs. We can actually install that before you ever take delivery of the vehicle, so that's pretty nice. It's a cat skin leather seat system, and it looks fantastic. But when you do pick up the Lariat, you're not only just getting the Active X bucket seats, but you're also getting a 10-way power driver seat, as well as an 8-way power passenger seat. And the driver seat is going to be memory function, so you can actually save your preset and your wife can save her preset and everybody's happy. So that's kind of nice. As far as functional standard equipment, you do pick up Pro Power on board with the Lariat. And you also get B&O Bang & Olufsen sound system, 8-speaker system, automatically standard equipment, as well as Bluecruise, but this time it's just a 90-day trial. Because it's standard, they're not giving you the 1 year plus 90, it's just 90 days. Now, you also get a 1-year subscription to the connectivity package, which is that Wi-Fi hotspot I've been talking about like 18 times in this video. But you also get intelligent access with push button start. If you missed that part of the F-150 XLT portion, this is basically when you walk up to the vehicle and stick your hand in the door handle, it automatically unlocks, allowing you to hop in the vehicle and then just do the push button start. It's really nice. Now you also pick up rain sensing windshield wipers, as well as the remote start system with the remote tailgate release. Once again, the Ford Copilot 360 Assist 2.0, which is going to be standard equipment on the 302A and above for the XLT. For Lariat, it's standard on all of them. So the 360 camera, you have the adaptive cruise control, lane centering, predictive speed assist, stop and go, automatic emergency braking. And by the way, that's oncoming traffic, and it's using the cameras and the radar to actually detect that. And you also pick up some front parking sensors, as well as the tow technology package, which comes with the hitch assist and then also the backup assist. So it's really, really nice. Now, everything I just mentioned to you, that is equipment group, the 500A equipment group. That's the base model of the Lariat. But if you want to step up to the 501A, it actually gets you a couple of nice things like 20-inch chrome-like PVD wheels. That's a nice thing. You get a power sliding rear window. You have illuminated visor, so that way if you need to check your makeup or make sure, you know, how ugly am I? Oh yeah, there's no fixing this. All right, I'm gonna put it back. But at least it's illuminated now. And you also get power adjustable pedals with memory function on there as well. And you also get a 6-inch angular bright step bar on either side of the vehicle. So that's kind of nice as well. But if you step up to the 502A equipment group, this is the big boy. This is the one that's completely loaded out as far as the Lariat's concerned, even though it still has ActiveX instead of leather. But anyways, you do get ambient lighting, but unfortunately it's only one color. It's ice blue color only, and that's it. But when you do the 502, that normal running board I was just talking about is now an extended running board that actually extends out into the bed of the vehicle, making accessing stuff in the bed of the vehicle a lot easier. That's a 6-inch running board if you're curious. And you also pick up the B&O audio system, but this time it's the 14-speaker system, not the 8-speaker system. So a big step up in overall sound system. This is the big boy. This is how you get the best audio system that the F-150 has to offer. It's the 502A equipment group. Now, when you get the 502, you also pick up the second row heated seats. So that way, if you have some VIP clients in the back, they can be nice and toasty. But you also pick up a mobile office package in the front. So that way you can treat the truck as your mobile office. I don't know. But anyways, let's move into how can you configure this F-150 Lariat. Every single one of them out of the gate is going to be a Super Crew, period, end of paragraph. As I mentioned to you at the beginning of the video, you have the ability to go with a 2-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive, whereas previously it was 4-wheel drive only. And so now you also have the ability to go with a 5.5-foot box or a 6.5-foot box. Once again, I'm talking about the overall length of the bed of the vehicle. As far as engines are concerned, unfortunately, not a whole lot of choices here. You have a 3.5 EcoBoost, a 3.5 Power Boost hybrid, or you do have the 5.0 V8. So the 2.7 liter EcoBoost is not an option on the Lariat. Freestanding package are as follows. Connectivity package, one-time purchase. You have a Lariat black appearance package, bed utility package, FX4 off-road package, trailer tow, or actually it's technically called the tow haul package, and then you also have the mobile office package. Now, once again, the availability of those might vary depending on the PEP code or the equipment group that you select. So just kind of check with your dealer if that's something that you're concerned about. Make sure that it has it on there before you place that order. But freestanding options are pretty interesting now. So we've already established the Lariat comes with a Bluecruise 90-day trial automatically. And so that means you have two choices to upgrade the Bluecruise. You can either add an extra year automatically as a purchase, or you can even add a one-time purchase of Bluecruise, which basically means you got Bluecruise for the life of the vehicle or 7 years. So it just depends on when those cell phone towers give out, because a lot of that information is feeding back to make sure that we're making the road in Bluecruise even better. You also have the ability to go with Pro Power on board. Another freestanding option is going to be the twin panel moonroof. Now keep in mind, you have to get a 501A or a 502A equipment group to get that twin panel moonroof. So make sure you check that PEP code or that equipment group if the twin panel moonroof is something that's important to you. 22-inch wheels are now an option on the 502A equipment group, as well as telescoping mirrors, so the trailer tow mirrors, the heads-up display, whereas it previously was a standard equipment in the 502A. I've actually had a lot of customers that are buying these nice expensive trucks, a little bit older, and they're like, I don't know what this heads-up thing like, and they don't like it. The good news is you can turn that off, but it's interesting to know that Ford has pulled that out of the automatic package and has given it back to us as an option when you select the 502A equipment group. Security code keyless entry, where you can just type in your passcode and unlock the truck. That is also an option, so make sure to select it if it's important to you, as well as the Sirius satellite radio. Once you get the free 3-month trial, but you can get the 3-year prepaid upfront included with this option. Now let's talk about the King Ranch. This is going to be a vehicle that is based on the Lariat trim level. So it includes everything that the Lariat comes standard equipment, plus what I'm about to cover with you. Number one, 3.5 liter EcoBoost is going to be your standard equipment engine. Now, there's some sad truths to this. We're going to come to in just a second. You're going to know what I'm talking about when I get to it. But for the outside, every one of the King Ranch is going to have a 6-inch extended running board. You have Pro Power on board, chrome skull caps, a grille with chrome surround and bronze accents, as well as a specific unique hood with some really cool inserts that actually allow air to flow out of the engine bay, if you will. I think they're functional. Not quite sure, but I think they are. But they look great. You also have bronze accents all over the vehicle. And you also have the two-tone paint, which is actually going to be a marsh gray lower two-tone. Every one of these King Ranches is going to have that two-tone paint, and I think it looks good. 20-inch chrome-like PVD wheels. Basically, it looks like a chrome wheel, but it's not actually chrome wheel. They do that to save weight and probably also cost, if I had to guess. But either here or there, that's what you got. For the interior, you do get ice blue color ambient lighting system, as well as leather center console lid with that beautiful King Ranch logo, as well as power adjustable pedals with memory function, power sliding rear window, power tilt telescoping steering wheel with memory functions, as well as a steering wheel with the King Ranch logo. And my favorite for the inside are going to be the genuine wood interior trim accents that look so nice, as well as those metallic front scuff plates where you get in and out of the vehicle. Ford has really stepped their game up with the King Ranch. I think the truck looks fantastic. Now, it's expensive, but it is really, really nice. Now, the B&O audio system 8-speaker setup is going to be standard equipment on the King Ranch as well as a bed utility package. You get Bluecruise for 1 year. You have the mobile office package, and then you also have the trailer tow or the tow haul package. All of that stuff is included in that 600A equipment group. But what does the 601A get you? Well, number one, it's going to get you the B&O audio system with the 14 speakers. This, once again, is the premium audio system found in the Ford F-150. You also get power deployable running boards and my favorite, multi-contour seats with active motion. You get massaging seats. Let's just put it that way. The King Ranch F-150 is available only in a Super Crew, but now you can get it in a 2-wheel drive or you can get it in a 4-wheel drive. Now, if you get the 2-wheel drive, it's only coming with a 5.5-foot box. But if you get the 4-wheel drive, you can get it in a 5.5 or 6.5-foot bed. So that's kind of nice. Now, the 3.5 EcoBoost, as I mentioned to you, is going to be the standard equipment engine, but you also have the ability to go with a 3.5 Power Boost hybrid. It's so sad, but the F-150 King Ranch is not even available in a V8. As far as freestanding options, you get 22-inch wheels, heads-up display, Bluecruise is a one-time purchase, Pro Access tailgate. This is the first time I've actually seen the Pro Access tailgate across the board. Now, in the previous generation of the Ford F-150, you had a lot more options for the Pro Access tailgate, which is that new fancy door opener kind of a tailgate. This is the first time I've seen is inside of a King's Ranch. So I don't know what's going on there, but we'll see. But anyways, you do have Pro Power on board is also a freestanding option, as well as security code keyless entry system and the twin panel moonroof. Once again, they don't put the twin panel moonroof in every single one of these vehicles because not everybody wants a twin panel moonroof. Some people just want a solid metal roof, and that's okay. Ford gives you that ability. And you also have the Sirius satellite radio as 3 years prepaid upfront. Now let's talk about the Platinum trim level. This comes with everything that the Lariat comes with, but it's also going to come with a 3.5 EcoBoost, just like the King Ranch did. You have the 6-inch extended black step bar. You have the Pro Power on board. You have bumpers that are going to be body colored in the front and the rear, and you have some really good black belt moldings. They're going to be glossy black. Basically, it's blacked out version. I love this system because you have the ability to go with the satin in a second. I'm going to talk about that, but I love the fact that all of the Platinums come like murdered out. I think it looks great. Maybe that's just based on my age, I don't know. But you also get body colored skull caps. You have gloss black grille with black grille accents. And you also have body colored door handles as well as some 20-inch black wheels. For the inside, you do get an ambient lighting system, but it only covers ice blue as it did in the other trim levels of the F-150. But you also get a leather-wrapped heated steering wheel, which is really, really nice. Now, that steering wheel is also going to have the Platinum logo built into it, and it looks really premium. You also get power adjustable pedals with memory function, as well as power sliding rear window and heated rear seats. Now, as far as functionally, you get the bed utility package, Bluecruise for 1 year, and the mobile office package, as well as the tow haul package, all of that included in the base model of the F-150 Platinum. So I think it's a pretty sweet little deal. But if you step up to the 701A, you do get power deployable running boards as well as multi-contour seats with active motion. Once again, it's the ability to massage your butt and your back. It's really nice. But if you step up to another equipment group, the 702A, you get the heads-up display automatically, not an option, automatically. And you also get the B&O audio system with the 14 speakers. But if you're feeling really frisky, you can step all the way up to the 703A equipment group. This is basically what people are calling the Platinum Plus. If you remember the old school F-150 Limited, this is what that was. It basically replaces the Limited. The 703A equipment group comes with a set of 22-inch painted wheels. You have a full quilted leather seats. You want to talk about plush. And you also have the illuminated scuff plates on the front of the vehicle, as well as a leather-wrapped instrument panel. You have platinum lettering right there across the hood of the vehicle. You have the Platinum Plus exterior theme as well as an interior theme. And you also have a satin exhaust tip, as well as some wheel well liners and a couple of other things. But what is really crazy about the Platinum Plus that most people don't know is you get a Platinum Plus experience. What does that mean? So you get a premium maintenance plan. You have an elite welcome. I don't know what that means, but you also get a welcome package and a tribute item. Once again, don't know what that is, but you also have access to discounts for accessories for up to 90 days. By the way, TC Customs will give that on everybody. Just hit us up. We'll be happy to pass a discount to you. You also get Ford Rewards upgrade, and you also have a one-to-one texting with a Ford truck expert. Well, you get that if you go on with Town & Country Ford on any of these purchases, not just a Platinum Plus. But I think it's really cool that Ford's trying to step up their game on the experience of this whole purchase. But freestanding packages that you can get on all of the Platinums. Number one, FX4 Off-Road. I don't think that's available on the Platinum Plus, but it's small detail. Connectivity package, one-time purchase, as well as the Platinum Satin Appearance package. We mentioned to you all of the lower versions of the Platinum or the Black Appearance package. Well, you can actually add the Satin Appearance package if you don't like that blacked out, murdered out look. It's really nice that they give you that ability. As far as freestanding options, Bluecruise one-time purchase is available. You have the Pro Access tailgate is available as an option, as well as an engine block heater and also 22-inch gloss black wheels, depending on the pep code that you pick, as well as Pro Power on board, the Security Code keyless entry system, and the satellite radio for 3 years purchased. Now let's move into the Tremor trim level. This includes everything that the XLT trim level comes. So we're kind of going backwards. We're skipping one here for a second. So imagine what we talked about on the XLT plus the features I'm going to talk about here now. 3.5 liter EcoBoost. Every one of them comes with that. Now, the good news is you have the ability to go with the 5.0 on this one. That's kind of nice. But mechanically speaking, you also pick up a 3.73 gear ratio as well as a locking rear axle. So it's nice that you are getting a more aggressive gearing, but you're also getting the ability to lock that for extra traction. You also get a 9.75 inch gear set, which basically is just a beefed up rear end. So it's kind of nice. You have selectable drive modes, off-road shocks for the front and the rear. You even have a 2-stage variable leaf spring in the rear, which is even better for towing and for off-road capability. You even have a Tremor stabilizer bar in the front, trail control. You have a Tremor control arm. There's a lot of T's going on in here. And you also have a Tremor front steering knuckle. So believe it or not, the suspension system on the Tremor is a lot more updated than you probably realized. But moving to the outside, the exterior of the vehicle, you do get body color bumpers as well as a dual exhaust tips in the rear, as well as a specific and unique Tremor grille system in the front that I particularly like. Some people don't like it, but I do. But you also pick up skid plates all throughout that vehicle, which is nice if you're going to be off-roading, as well as all-terrain tires. On the inside, you do pick up some upfitter switches, which is nice for wiring, some accessories, some lights, winches, whatever you're needing. It comes automatically, as well as dual zone AC. That's really nice. Power adjustable pedals, as well as power sliding rear window, premium wrapped steering wheel. You have a 10-way power driver seat, cloth that is, with orange stitching. You have the ability to go with leather. I'll talk about that in a second. But Ford Copilot 360 Assist 2.0. I've already talked about this plenty of times, but 360 camera, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, predictive speed assist, all of those driver assist technologies is going to be included in this setup, as well as Bluecruise, by the way. That actually comes with a Bluecruise 90 days to be specific. Moving back to some other functional things, you have the B&O audio system, 8-speaker standard equipment, connectivity package, 1 year included, no charge, as well as remote start system with remote tailgate release. Now, being a Tremor trim level, you also have an increased ride height, so it's basically lifted from the factory, and you also have better approach angles and departure angles. If you don't know what that basically means, it basically means you can go better off-roading. You have a lot more clearance in the front and the rear of the vehicle. Intelligent access with push-button start and approach detection. It can tell when you're walking up to the vehicle, standard equipment. Pro Power on board. Now, depending on what engine you pick, obviously, but if you do the, I said do. If you do the Pro Power on board, that is actually going to get rid of the underseat storage. So just know that before you select that option. Just kind of know that if that's important to you. Everything I just mentioned to you, that is included in the 401A equipment group. If you step up one notch, you get a 402B equipment group. This is a new equipment group that Ford has slid in on us for the 2026. You might be asking yourself, what do you get? Well, it sounds like it's basically a more beefed up off-road setup. Specifically speaking, you get a front torsion, front differential, you get a heated steering wheel, you get 2-speed automatic transfer case with all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, depending on what you want. Just hit the button and it'll do it all for you. You also have a media bin door, so that way if you wanted to out of sight, out of mind, you could put your phone up there, you could do that. Power adjustable pedals you pick up with the 402B. You have the power folding mirrors, rain sensing windshield wipers, heated and ventilated leather seats. It's going to be included in this 402B equipment group, as well as the universal garage door opener. But if you say, you know what, I want to step up even further on the Tremor, you can pick up the 402A equipment group. And this gets you the tow haul mode, the bed utility package, mobile office package, LED tail lamps, modular front bumper. You have the carbon black rear bumper, which is basically to try and match that modular in the front. You also pick up second row heated seats, as well as the 14-speaker B&O audio system, as well as the ambient lighting system. Now, the Tremor is going to be only on a Super Crew configuration. Now, you do have 2 engines, a 3.5 EcoBoost or a 5.0 V8, but every one of them are going to have a 5.5-foot bed length in the back. Freestanding options include a Bluecruise 1-year or one-time subscription. You can get the twin panel moonroof, which is available on the 402B or the 402A equipment group. You have to get one of those to get the twin panel moonroof. The heads-up display is also a freestanding option, but it's going to be available only on the 402A equipment group. Available on all of the Tremors, you get the security code keyless entry keypad, as well as the satellite radio 3-year subscription prepaid up front. Now, let's talk about the big boy, the Raptor. I call it the Raptor chapter. This is a completely different vehicle all in itself. If you thought the Tremor was impressive, the Raptor is another level. They start out with a 3.5 EcoBoost high output. It's the only way to get the high output EcoBoost in an F-150 is to go with the Raptor. But in addition to that, you also get 410 rear axles, and you get a 5-link rear suspension with a pan-hard rod in the back. Basically, unbelievable off-road capability and unbelievable on-road capability as well. You get a mechanically locking 4-wheel drive system, transfer case. And one of my favorites in my Bronco Raptor is the My Mode. You can set up everything, and so that way if you like to go into a very specific mode, you just double tap that My Mode and everything goes to exactly the way you want it. So nice. And Ford even calls the suspension system on this vehicle a long travel suspension system with a unique upper and lower control arms and specific tire rods to the Raptor specifically. And you also have some skid plates all over the vehicle, but all of this is working correctly because of the Fox live valve suspension system. And so it's impressive. Very, very impressive. Now let's talk about the exterior. Now, almost everything is different on the exterior of the Raptor than a normal F-150, but let's try and cover some of it anyway. Dual exhaust system, body-colored door handles all the way around, integrated marker lights. Because the vehicle is so wide, you have to have those LED marker lights. You have rigid LED fog lights are going to be included on every one of these Raptors. Power folding mirrors, a Ford tailgate applique, and every one of these Raptors comes with 17-inch wheels and 35-inch tires. You do have unique bumpers, fenders, bedsides, really just a whole lot more. Too much to cover right here. So yeah, if you don't know what the Raptor is and what it looks like, there you go. On the inside of the vehicle, you do get 6 upfitter switches, just like you do on the Tremor, but it's nice to have it on the Raptor as well. You have the remote tailgate release, as well as leather trimmed seats, which is nice to have leather, because the Lariat only has ActiveX. Still don't understand that one. But anyways, the leather trim seats are very, very nice. They're unique to the Raptor, and they're actually bolstered a lot more, and they are very comfortable. Ford spent some money on these seats, at least on the research and development anyways. I do wish, side note, I do wish they were multi-contour seats. I would pay a pretty penny to have that. It would be the ultimate truck if it had that and Bluecruise. And yes, I went ahead and told you, the truck doesn't have Bluecruise. For whatever reason, Ford has deemed that the Raptor, maybe the tires are too big for Bluecruise to work. I don't know, but Bluecruise is not available on a Raptor, unfortunately. So if you want off-road capability and want Bluecruise, the Tremor is what you need to pick. But at least you do get the Ford Copilot 360 Assist 2.0, so 360 camera, lane centering, predictive speed assist, stop and go, automatic emergency braking. You still get everything. It just doesn't do it hands-free while you're on the interstate. Now, functionally speaking, you do get a bed utility package as well as the mobile office package on the new F-150 Raptor. as well as the B&O Unleashed audio system, which is the 14 speaker system. You do also get the Pro Power on board. You have the tow technology package, which comes with that backup assist and the hitch assist. But that is everything that you get on the 800A equipment group. If you want to step up to the 801, and what I just mentioned to you is what you get standard equipment on the 801A equipment group, which is the base version of the F-150 Raptor. If you step up to the 802A equipment group, you actually pick up the 37-inch performance package. So 37-inch tires, you get a 17-inch cast beadlock capable wheel. Remember that. I'm going to cover that in just a second. But it's a cast wheel, not a forged wheel. Now, you do pick up dual live valve suspension system, so it's even more live valve. It's twice as much than a normal live valve. But no, you have rebound and compression are both now live valve, and it's supposed to be a whole lot better. Once again, I've not jumped one of these 40 feet, so I wouldn't know. But from what I understand, it's a pretty big difference. You do also pick up modular front bumper automatically, as well as Recaro seats and carbon fiber interior trim. If you step up to the 803A equipment group, this is the big boy. This is the one that is still bringing a stupid level amount of money over sticker, even after we're not anywhere near an over MSRP market anyways. People have come back to reality, but this truck has not. The 803A equipment group is the Raptor R. This gives you the 5.2 supercharged V8. It's a completely different exhaust system, obviously, to match with that V8 sound. You have exterior graphics all over the place, interior graphics, hood vents, and then you also pick up a 17-inch forged aluminum beadlock wheel. So it's interesting to know, by the way, it's not a beadlock wheel, it's a beadlock capable wheel. But it's interesting to know that the 802A gets a cast aluminum beadlock capable wheel, but the Raptor R picks up the forged aluminum beadlock capable wheels. So anyways, and by the way, the 5.2 liter, for some reason, they're not able to get it to work with the Pro Power on board. So no Pro Power on board on the Raptor R, but you do get carbon fiber appliques and the code orange stitching all throughout. Now, the freestanding packages that you get on this whole Raptor or Raptor R, doesn't matter which one, connectivity package, one-time purchase, the twin panel moonroof, the engine block heater, and so much more. But one that I want to talk about is the graphics delete package. My recommendation is to get every single one of these F-150 Raptors with the graphics package because it's a no charge option. And then if you decide later you don't like it, you can always peel it off and it doesn't cost you any extra. And so with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. If you have, we really do appreciate you because I realize this is not a short video, but I'm hoping that is going to be the best video for you, regardless of what trim level you're thinking about purchasing on the new F-150. Once again, if you want to purchase one of these vehicles and order them at invoice pricing, all you have to do is call the number right there on the screen, and that will get you invoice pricing on every single vehicle except for the Raptor trim level. Again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you found it useful. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.